22 pounds at 10-5, man. Watch the Good Fellas Sports TV, bro.
Here's from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Watch
Good Fellas Sports.
Good Fellas Sports.
All right, Mark Maxwell was non-committal to rematch and Gary Russell after snatching the belt away from Gary Russell Jr. Let's talk about it. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, all my social media subscription. Twitter's the fastest way, than Facebook and Instagram. Like I said before, I can't call it a robbery because I didn't score it, and maybe I get a chance to score and brush my hair. Get a chance to score it. Give my honest opinion to the naked eye, man. You know, I was trying to eat at the dogs. You know, I was watching football. So, American football, by the way. So, I can't really tell y'all the true rivalry to the naked eye. My scorecard might look totally different. So, I should have scored it. When I don't score it, it matter. When I do score it, it don't matter. It's one of the craziest things. But they asked Mark Maxwell after the fight, do you want to rematch it? Then, you know, he was answering every question in English, right? But then, you know, he started speaking you know, whatever the Philippine people speak. I don't know exactly what they speak, but yeah, he started speaking Filipino. He started speaking Filipino language. He said, "Ask my manager this, that, and the third." And you know, honestly, bro, I hate when they ask fighters that after the heat of the battle because they are in the heat of the battle. Okay, they are in the heat of the battle. I will say, and it's hard. Ask me when I cool off. I hate when they interview somebody that got knocked out right after the fight. Like, bruh. And then, you know, somebody say something crazy, then he listed his, but bro, he just went through a traumatic experience. Both fighters, you just exchanging blows, bro. So yeah, you know, he was non-committal. I don't blame him for being non-committal. And like I said before, you know, Gary Russell should have never went through this fight with one arm. And I understand, you know, fighters got to get paid. He ain't fought in 2 years. Family probably need that check. You know, but Maxo came out hot, and I thought he, you know, pretty much maybe won. Like I thought he won the first 3 or 4. I'm not sure what it was. In 6, he, you know, right after around 4 or 6, he started to kind of taper off. But he came out with a perfect game plan, touched the body, all types of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And his game plan was well. And then he kind of started to fade a little bit. You know, was he the aggressor? Was he moving his hands? Yeah. You know, you got to ask yourself, was it effective aggression? Because also defense is to be scored too. When you make somebody miss, that's a score too. That's what you call it. That's I said it last night. It's, you know, it's ring generalship. There we go. It's ring generalship. So think about that for a minute. That's ring generalship as well. So yeah, when people sit there and they say you know, he came forward and he, you know, he got some big shots. He buzzed Gary Russell early on, but after a while, it seemed like Gary kind of controlled the pace a little bit. But you know, but at the end of the day, hey, bro, I'm not gonna be committal to rematching this dude. You know, now he did say that he thought that he hurt his shoulder. He thought that a punch hurt Gary Russell's shoulder. And then also I was listening to Ringside General with Beeb, and then shout out to Corey Lee was on there this morning. Shout out to the other dude on there too. They saying that now they saying that Gary Russell might have a wrist or a hand injury, or wrist injury, whatever now. Okay, so you know, but congratulations to him. This is always great to see. An upset is very fruitful for boxing channels. Controversy is always very fruitful for boxing channels and for the boxing public, for the media, for us to write about, us to talk about at the gym, at the job. You know, we got to settle for upsets. Upsets have supplemented big fights. I'll say it again. Upsets have supplemented big fights. So a fight, you know, we don't get a name. This ain't a name versus name. This ain't Gary versus Navete or Gary versus Shakira, Gary versus Devin, Gary versus Tank, Gary versus Cobra. But we got an upset, and it's fruitful. Say it's not. You know, Bushido had like 1,000 people watching, and he went live last night. It's fruitful. People love controversy. People love drama. That's what big fights give you. Big fights give you controversy, give you drama. Upsets get you controversy and drama. So we got to hope for an upset to be entertained. And shout out to Mark Maxo for giving us an upset and not following the script and giving us something to talk about. Because we don't get these moments in big fights no more. You know, Wilder Fury is you know, in America, you know, we get some good fights in the UK. Let's be real, they do. But we talk about in America, we don't get those big fights. We gotta settle for upsets. We gotta pray for upsets. We gotta hope for upsets to get get what we thirsting for. Big fights few far in between. People think some of these fights are big fights, but they not. Big fights are fights you get butterflies before it's about to come on. You anxious, you stop what you doing. You know what I'm saying? And part of boxing being on a pedestal in boxing is popularity, bro. Names matter in boxing. Say what you want to say. If they're artificially built up, if they get it out the mud, from 135 or whatever, they start off with Matador or Zafner, they move up the top rank. Names are needed for the sport of boxing to be fueled. And upsets are needed because upsets create names. Think about that for a minute. Upsets create names. And shout out to Mark Magsayo for delivering that last night. Gary Russell would have won, have been the same old thing. Here we go again. It would have been boring, mundane. We don't got boxing, I don't believe, next week. Not until the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. And a lot of fights that fell out in February 5th. Liam Smith and Jesse Vargas fell out. So, we don't have no real boxing next week. I think Macabu fight next week in Ohio. I thought about going to that, but got some situation that weekend. Robertson Kasinko and Xavier Martinez. Xavier Martinez is trained by Diego Corrales' stepdaddy. I don't have a network though. But the 5th, you do have Sora Riebenstein and Carlos Quadras. They fight for the vacant regular WBC champion. I believe that Chocolito is the champion. Whoever the hell, the Juan Estrada is the real champion, I believe. And that takes the place of it's a main event. It's Jesse Vargas and old boy. Liam Smith because somebody got sick. Keith Thurman Barrios on pay-per-view. You got Chris Eubanks and Liam Williams. Also, the ESPN card was canceled, pushed back to March 4th because Jose Pedraza got injured versus Jose Ramirez, by the way. So just want to get a quick update. But like I said before, man, this was great for boxing. Honestly, I hope Gary would have won. I'm a huge Gary fan, but, we got to look at the positives in here. And Gary made his own bed. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, being real, challenging the authority. They said I always say asked for too much money for fights, and they couldn't deliver on the fights that he wanted for whatever reason it was. There's something against him, the boxing politics, but is a rematch needed? And I think he should give him a rematch based on the principle. It don't have to be immediate because obviously Gary Russell probably gonna have surgery on the shoulder. He probably gonna be out for 6 to 8 months. Then he probably gonna need a tune up. So really, a Mark Magsayo player, right? He got 2 or 3 fights before he get a tune up. So you don't have to agree to immediate tune up his shoulder messed up. So it won't be an immediate tune up unless you want to rehab again and go in there with his shoulder. Well, you think about it, Gary Russell probably gonna enjoy, take care of some things, have surgery, probably come back 6 to 12 months, have a tune up. So you probably really talking the middle, or if he lucky, Gary Russell, the middle, if he lucky, the early 2023 into 2022 or mid 2023, this fight probably can pop off after he probably get a tune up. So, Gary Russell probably, last night, I thought he boxed well. He showed more head movement than usual. Showed another wrinkle in this game. Like I said, it was competitive, but like I said before, the fix was in. PBC allowed Gary Russell to get this tag that he was they vilified him. He was even vilified more when you take the nicest guy in boxing than Leo Santa Cruz. They didn't deliver the fights, and that's messed up. But he ain't the only one. It ain't like you in a different boat. They don't deliver fight. They didn't deliver a lot of fights for Earl. They didn't deliver a lot of fights for Keith early on. They didn't deliver a unification bout for Deontay Wilder with Charles Martin. They don't deliver a lot of shit, man. But when you're a competitor and you really want to fight the best, you gotta look at signing with Al, bro. Money ain't always the key to happiness. I say it again, money ain't always the key to happiness. You want those big fights. You want to be on those stages. You want to have that crowd like Canelo and Floyd and Pacquiao and Wilder Fury. You want to be a part of that if you're a competitor And there's too many pansies around boxing who just happy hitting singles and doubles and don't even want to hit home runs because they scared they gonna lose. They scared their money gonna drop. They scared they gonna go into in the best. They scared without they they ain't the same fighter. And then also you got white collars telling these guys, the business guys telling these guys to marinate. And you look at Jamal Charlo, if he get the Canelo fight, he gonna get around $15 million. Fight Boo Boo for 7, or hit fight Canelo for 15 and come back and fight Boo Boo and still get that 7 or 10, or it might be a bigger money fight if you win, or it's a bigger fight after. So they advise these dudes to hold out for mega paydays, man. That may or may not come. When you get there, it ain't like you're gonna win anyway. A lot of these guys with Canelo, but I mean, it is what it is. Maxo did what he had to do. He did enough. Just some of that fire he had in the first round, tapered off, and he tested Gary's body, tested his chin, and Gary passed that test. And we all knew, everybody saw Gary fight with one arm, and after like the third, he stopped throwing the jab, and I thought he should have switched to his backhand as his lead hand. But be interesting if somebody asked him that in the post press conference. I haven't seen it yet, but yeah, as far as rematch, man, immediate rematch ain't gonna happen. It don't even matter about the rematch. It ain't even up to Maxo. It's up to his shoulder. It's up to his rehab. It's up to if you want to tune up to test out that shoulder. So you probably think about a rematch late 2022 if you lucky, 2023 most likely if they give him a rematch, which most people don't believe. His best bet. I mean, I think Al Heyman's still gonna hold him back. Maybe Al Heyman let him go now. He left his own. He say not by Al Heyman. That's not true, bro. Um, so if he would have left, he would have been left. All right, my bad, man. StreamYard froze up, so I might be able to edit this out. So that's my fault. But so let me see if I can get this. It is what it is. All right, so I appreciate. Sorry for the hiatus, but yeah, looking at the ranking and system, if it let me share, it'd be freezing when you share, man. I gotta report that bug, but it's web based, so that makes it great, even though they ask for all that damn money. But so you look at the division and say, well, where do I see him here? Right? I was listening to Beeb and Corey Lee talk about it. I look at the division. I think Bar had a draw. A lot of people say he really lost. I didn't see the fight. Got Ray Vargas, really high. I think they're gonna make Ray Vargas and Mark Maxo. They move Ray Vargas up to fight Maxo, to fight Gary Russell. He didn't want the mandatory for whatever reason it is. So I think Ray Vargas and Maxo are gonna be next. They're gonna try to get that belt and Matt and Ray Vargas' hands. Vargas is a tough fighter, hold grab type of fighter, born fighter, terrible fighter, one of the worst fighters you'll see. Clinch, hold, clinch, hold, clinch, hold, clinch, hold, clinch. Don't throw nothing memorable at all. He just fought 11:06 versus Leonardo Baez. He ain't had a knockout since 2016 versus Alexander Munzo. So 35-0. It's a fight you can miss me with, but they can build it as another Mexican executioner, Mark Mag. So the fights that I want to, this fight that I like to see him fight in next. Man, I don't know. He get a chance to enjoy his belt. Maybe fight Ray Vargas next. But he don't have to have a mandatory. So he can do what he want to fight. Just looking at the field. I mean, you get a tune up, wherever you get it at. But the guys I want to see him fight, Emmanuel Navete. Navete will give him a really, really tough fight, I believe. I don't know. Josh Leo Santa, he probably unified with Leo Santa Cruz. So tune up. Probably fight. He probably unify with Leo next. Yep, he probably unify with Leo next. So I think that's to happen. I think he'll fight a mandatory next year versus Ray Vargas. If he has the belt, he fight Leo, and then maybe Leo, they unify depending on what happened with Kiko Martinez, and then I don't think they're gonna send a fighter fighting the vet there. So I think that'd be kind of right what's cooking for him. So yeah, I think that'll happen. So yep. So but like overall, man, the rematch not really gonna happen. But also you had the Sabrio fight. Let me speak on that real quick. You had the Sabrio Matisse fight last night, and it was a rematch versus Peter Yan. I haven't seen Peter. Haven't seen. I didn't see the first fight. All right, but Sabrio Matisse was ranked second in the IBF, right? Peter Ayan, Petro Ayan, whatever his name is, he's ranked 13th in the WBO. Not ranked in the WBC, and not ranked in the WBO. On the ones I'm looking at might not be updated. Not ranked in the IBF. So how you beat somebody like Sabrio Matisse, and then and you don't get ranked inside the top 15. Now, obviously you got a petition to get ranked in the sanctioned belt bodies. You got to win, but I really didn't understand that part. But yeah, he beat my bad. He beat Pete Petro. Petro beat Matias or Sabrio in 2020. So he had 3 losses. So he lost to Steve Collette in Canada. He had a majority loss to Kareem Martin in Atlanta. And he got stopped. He had a draw. He had a couple draws in his career. He got stopped last night. So maybe that's why he wasn't ranked so high. 16-3-2. He beat Sabrio by unanimous decision too. 95, 94, 96, 93, 95, 94. So close fight, but all scores was for him in that first fight. They fought on the undercard. Maybe I did see. I don't remember. Wilder and Tyson Fury. This was the rematch, the second one. So yep. Yeah, that fight was brutal. And one thing about that fight too, I'll be quick. One thing it was about that fight was that I bet Petro Ayan, whatever Ayan, he just stood in front of him. I was saying, man, he was taking some big shots in that fight. Like, then he got a chin, and then he had a good poker face. He took that, I think it was a hook he couldn't take no more, that dropped him, and then they stopped it after the ground. So he technically got stopped in the ninth. But the thing about him, he stood in front of his opponent. You can't stand in front of somebody all night for 12 rounds. Their first fight was a 10 rounds, a 12 rounder. Can't stand in front of somebody all night. And that's what he did. He stood in front of Sabrio, let Sabrio tee off, and Sabrio defense was better. Jan was catching shots with his face. Sabrio was picking, rolling shots, slipping shots. That was the difference. And this dude, Sabrio, has a 94.74% knockout ratio. Every fight he won is a knockout. He lost one fight. The one fight he lost is not a knockout. So you standing in front of a knockout puncher, and obviously he probably made some adjustments from the first fight. And I said before, you can't stand in front of guys like that. Can't stand in front of them. Matias was using angles. That was the difference. They both abandoned the jab. Matias had better defense. He was moving his feet and utilizing angle. So, yeah, let me know what you girls and guys think, man, about it. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button, the bell icon button. Hit all notifications. Increase your chance to get notifications. Go live or drop a video. Check out the Fire Reaction Plus. This will be a review. Check boxing news players or whatever. Want to financially support the channel? Cash App, $ CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313, PayPal in the description. Find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. If you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request, all my social media links and information in the description. Best way you support the channel: comment, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and subscribe button, the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notification. Go live or drop a video. But other than that, I do appreciate you guys for coming in. Other than that, man, I gotta watch it. I'll watch it again, and I make a video, let y'all know what my scorecards is if I get around to it, to try to do that video tomorrow. But I mean, it is what it is. Gary got to pick himself up and do it again. And Max, so the world is his. I think I predict he probably fight Leo Santa Cruz next. Peace.